Hello and welcome to the final round of the 2013 FIA and FIM European Drag Racing Championships. We've got a lot of championship races still to be decided. Some of them are sewn up, but let's find out how they all got on. So we're on to the Super Twins with Vessa Lippen against your newly crowned champ Ronnie Orson and Samu Kampanen against Martin de Haas from the Netherlands. Well, that's Samu. On the V-twin against Martin de Haas, and Martin goes red. Even though he's out in front, it's not going to count. Man in the far lane, Samu Kampanen, through into the final with a 6.82. Nice run. Martin de Haas consistent in the 7.2s, but the red light did him in. Well, the great crowd at Santa Pod amusing themselves by doing Mexican waves. That's one place we do hold a European record for at Santa Pod Raceway, is the Mexican wave from one end to the other. On the other side of the ladder, it's Vessa Lippen, was supposed to be against Ronnie Orson, but Ronnie had a big boomer in round one, couldn't make it back for round two. And it's Vessa going to be going through into the final. Now, interestingly, if Vessa wins that final round against Samu, he will be champion for the Super Twins. Still a fairly easy run. Another one in the low sevens, clicks it off before the finish line to save parts. And it's an all-finish final in Super Twin. So here we go then. This is going to decide number 1 and 2 in the championship. That man there, Vessa Lippen, very consistent, not the quickest, but in the low sevens every time. If he can take the win light against Samu, he will be the champion. But at the moment, it looks like way out in front. It is. Wow, 6.76, low ET of the weekend for him. And Samu Kampanen takes the win, and number 2 in the championship with that final run. Just look at the way the bike dangles the front wheel all the way down the racetrack. He really is one spectacular rider. I'm sure very happy as well. It looks quite worrying to us when you ride it. What's it like on the bike?
Well, it's really good. I like to ride it like front wheel really high up, then it's easy to steer. So everybody says no, I'm running it too high, but I'm old stunt rider, so I think I like it that way. And that's why I like Super Twins, because they're so difficult to ride.
So we're on to two wheels now in Top Fuel Bike. This is Rikard Gustafsson with one of the world's quickest and fastest funny bikes. I'm going to shut up. This is the world's quickest ever run on a funny bike. And look at the numbers, 6.36, his first time ever in the 6.3s. The quickest funny bike run, like I said, in the world. Congratulations to Rikard and the team as we move on into eliminations for Top Fuel Bike. So, highlights of round 1, Ian King ran the first 5-second run on home soil, down into the 5 lines, well over 230 miles an hour. Round 1, he's up against René van der Berg. Now, René's had a quite horrible season, unfortunately, with the bike. Lots of broken bits and pieces. The team worked very hard all weekend to get it back together, and he's going to give Ian King a pretty good race as well. But look at the Golf bike way out in front. Clicks it off before the finish line, and you know what? René van der Berg in the other lane, 6.54, 2.16. That's a personal best for him. But Ian King just a way out in front. Look at the power of that bike, just pours it on. Even though he clicks it off before the finish line, still got enough in the tank to take the win. There's a crowd wait for the next pair of bikes to come out onto the Santa Pod quarter mile. This is Otto Kniebel, the Imperial Wizard Puma, against the quickest funny bike in the world of Rikard Gustafsson. Now, Otto has been running into the 6s for the first time ever this season with a bike in the far lane, but he's up against one tough customer in Rikard Gustafsson. Look at that funny bike go, just leaves the line like a scalded cat, and he goes through and takes the win, 6.59. So a great try though from Otto, 6.81. There you can see, look at that, Rikard with the front wheel in the air till just before the finish line, and he puts it down just in time. So Ian King's going to have a bye in the semis, and it's going to be Phil Papaphilippou all the way from Greece against Rikard Gustafsson on the other side of the ladder. To that race we go. Here comes Phil, the fast Phil as he's known, with the bike from Greece, and he's running the 6s for his first time ever this weekend. down into the 6.7s, and he's leading Rickard. And he takes the win over Rickard Gustafsson as well. Off pace for the Swedish rider, only in the 7.0s. Phil Papaphilippou goes 6.93 on his first ever trip to Santa Pod with this bike. And he's in the final against Ian King. Wow, what a result for him and the team. And unfortunately for Rickard, his worst run of the weekend at the worst time as well. I'm sure he'll consolidate himself with being the quickest funny bike rider in the world. Ian King against Phil Papaphilippou, your final in Top Fuel Bike. So for Greece, I think it's the first time anybody from Greece has been in the Top Fuel Bike final. Up against real homegrown talent in the form of Ian King, and it is Ian in dominant form once again. The Gulf Oil Puma takes another event win. Great weekend for him. Ian, what a fantastic way to wrap up another championship season. The event win, you just must be so happy.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend for us, running the first 5 on British soil by a British rider and actually getting through to the final winning. Fantastic. I'm ecstatic, mainly for my crew.
Well, it's going to be tough to beat wherever he goes in the world anyway. So we're on with Pro Stock Bike. Again, a championship to be settled. Today's racing. So highlights of round 1. This is the man who's looking to win the championship. That's Fredrik Friedland in the near lane up against Martin Bishop. If he can get by this round, he will be repeat European champion Pro Stock Bike. And he makes it look easy. 7.03 beats Martin Bishop's very game 7.39, but just not quick enough against one of the quickest Pro Stock bikes in Europe. That's Fredrik Friedland. Yeah, no mistakes whatsoever from the man from Holland. There's also a bit of a race on this weekend, and has been for the last few seasons, to get into the 6-second zone for a Pro Stock bike. Near lane, one of the ladies who's got a chance of doing that, Elvira Karlsson, only 18 2 weeks ago. 7.01, 187 miles an hour at 18 years old. What an effort. Beats out Jerry Collier with a 7.93. So Elvira will be in the semis against Kalle Loren. Gertland Lesueur is up against Fredrik Friedland. So it is Elvira. You can just see how young she is, just looking through her visor in her crash helmet. She's tiny, tiny young lady as well, that really knows how to ride this bike very well. Up against the Vadek machine of Kalle Loren. Him and his dad have had a horrible weekend with engine damage, but they're here in the semi-finals, giving Elvira a really good race. When it comes down to it, just not quite enough. 7.09 beats a 7.24. See Elvira hanging off the side of the bike. There's nothing of her. I can't imagine hanging body weight off the side of that bike makes that much difference, but she rides it so well indeed. That's her dad, Robert, going into the final. So the other side of the ladder, repeat champ Fredrik Friedland is going to be up against Gert-Jan Lesueur. That's Gert-Jan in the far lane. Away, very close together, but Fredrik Friedland is pulling out the lead. And Fredrik, a very lucky man to make that semi-final run. What we didn't see there was he had trouble starting the bike. Just as Gert-Jan was going into stage, it rained, so Fredrik and the team fixed it, came back round again after the rain stopped, and this was that race, and he made it through to the final. He was seriously one lucky guy, but he wasn't lucky that time round. Elvira against Fredrik, your final in FIM Pro Stock Bike. Okay, we've got one more race to see on 2 wheels. So it's the event win up for grabs. Elvira Karlsson, 18 years old from Sweden. Fredrik Friedland from Åland, repeat champion. Can someone run a 6? Can Fredrik cap a championship season with a win? The answer is no, it's Elvira, and she does it. Europe's first 6-second run on a Pro Stock bike, and I think they're a little bit happy, to say the least. It's her first ever event win, and look at just how close it was at the finish line. Nothing to choose between them, but it was Elvira. You run the first 6.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I cannot believe that.
It's just been so good for you and your team as well, and your dad as well.
Yeah, my dad cry now. Cry, and I'm very happy.
Very happy indeed is an understatement. statement. We move on to Super Street Bike. That's your final. Steve Venables against Graham Bouchin. It's been a great weekend for these guys, running very quick, very fast indeed. But when it comes down to the final, it's an all-Ven racing affair. That's Steve Venables in the far lane, Graham Bouchin in the near lane with a wheelie at half track. Manages to pull it down. Steve Venables takes the event win, 7:25, 197 miles an hour. He went over 200 miles an hour as well in qualifying. Just outstanding elapsed times and speeds from street-tired bikes. No wheelie bars to keep him down. It's all down to riding skill. Both of them with the front wheel in the air, just managing to keep it barely on the edge of control. What a great class they've been through 2013. Here on the start line at Santipod Raceway with CEO and FIA Championship promoter Keith Bartlett. Keith, well, what a day it's been. We've had records all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, the weather held. You know, it's a new track this season. We knew it would come good in the finals, and wow, look at it. Pro Stock Bike, Elvira Castle, just unbelievable. You know, that girl 2 years ago was not frightened of the bike, but she was nervous. She was shy in front of cameras. Now she's just set European Pro Stock Bike record. She was buzzing in all the interviews today, and it just was fantastic. And yesterday, it started off with Rickard Gustafsson from Sweden with a funny bike. Started off with a world record, 6:30, whatever it was, but I know it was a world record and it was quick. And I thought, wow. And then out comes Jimmy Orland, again from Sweden, Pro Stock car, runs the most phenomenal time, and it's a world record for an asphalt track. I'm pleased to say that asphalt track's here. And I thought, wow, it can't get any better than that.
Well, what a fantastic end to the FIA and FIM European drag racing season. We do hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next year.